Mr. Trammell,
Mr. Nix.
how goes it?
Well, it goes all right. It goes all right. How about you?
Just all right?
Yeah, just all right. I mean, yeah, just all right. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I'm great. I'm great. What do you want? What do you want from me?
I, I don't know. I just prefer to do a podcast with somebody that's going to be energetic, somebody that's going to, care about this and be passionate. And I mean, I think the listeners would agree with me that, they don't want to listen to somebody that's just, all right, because I mean, our listeners are probably just, all right. Maybe sitting in their car. Nobody's really energetic when they're driving. I mean, people that are just, a-holes. But I just want something more from you. That's all.
Look, I understand that, but I think
You're already disappointing me.
I think I never stop disappointing you, for one.
Okay, that's true.
But here's the thing. I feel like this is our 4th episode. I feel like that we need to address something right off the bat.
I think I know what you're going to say. Okay, I think I know. But
Oh, okay. Well, what do you think?
No.
What do you think I'm going to say?
I think you're going to talk about how we're not the only game in town anymore.
It's not really anymore. I think, it's our 4th episode, and we have been putting off this discussion for 4 episodes, and I think it's time to address it. And by that I mean, let's be completely honest. Let's not put on a show. Let's be completely honest, because that's what we want to do. We want to be honest with our listeners.
Absolutely.
We recorded, before we ever released the first episode, we recorded 3 episodes. I mean, do you feel like we've, by revealing that, we've betrayed our listenership?
Maybe in a sense. We have mentioned in previous episodes, even though we recorded them in the span of like one weekend, we've said comments like, "Oh, over these past couple months, we weren't completely honest. I don't think anybody really hold it against us. I mean, let's face it. There's 4 people that listen to it: you, me, and our mothers.
No, your mom.
Okay,
And
just the 3.
actually, you're right though. 4 listeners, but it's your mom and Alabama Dog. Alabama Dog listens to this podcast.
Well, Alabama Dog's a host. If you go
But
on
you counted us. You said me and you and your mom and Alabama Dog. So those are the 4 people who listen.
Okay. Those, yeah, you're right. Those 4. So if you go on podjamespod.tumblr.com, you look at our hosts, you'll see Carlin, you'll see me, you'll see Alabama Dog. That's all you need to know, listeners. Alabama Dog is a host.
Anyways, Alabama Dog aside, and Alabama Dog, thanks for everything you do. We started this show at the same time that there were I think 47, 48 different James Bond themed podcasts that all started at the exact same time.
I think that's a low end exaggeration.
It was.
I mean, that's realistic, but not quite realistic enough.
Okay,
not
two others.
Exaggerated enough to be an exaggeration. Okay, 2 others. Okay.
You're right. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry for that. I
others.
apologize for that low end exaggeration.
But there may be very well more than 2 other podcasts, James Bond podcasts.
And look, let me say, I have
within the week of us.
I have no qualms with James Bond podcasts. Guys, great job. I've never listened to your show, but good on you for what you guys are doing.
Absolutely. I mean, we're doing it because we love James Bond. Lots of people like James Bond. I understand it. I don't hold any grudges. It's just what are the odds of us coming out with a James Bond podcast where we do a movie and episode?
We get into the nitty gritty. We drill down. We talk about every facet of these movies. We exhaust. I mean, when we are done talking about these movies, there is nothing left but just the bones, because we have eaten all of the meat off these movies.
You can't even enjoy the movie anymore because we've just eaten all the meat off.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so I mean, I don't want to be down on the James Bond podcast. Those guys, great, love them. Again, even though I've never listened, I love them. There's another podcast, and I don't know why I feel this way. Maybe you can help me, Aaron.
Okay.
But there's another one that it's not. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to be negative. It
No,
rhymes.
you do want to say the name.
I'm just going to tell you what it rhymes with. It's the Bames Jonding podcast. It rhymes with that. It's not. That's not the name. And you probably won't be able to figure out what I'm talking about. It is from the. I'm not going to say the name of the network, but it's something that rhymes with Birdist. The Birdist.
Birdist. Okay. Okay. I'm putting two and two together here.
They come on the scene, and they've already, their podcasting network has about 105 shows.
It's massive.
It's about 105 shows. Again, I think I did a low end exaggeration there. It's like 27 or 28. And I don't know. I don't know what my problem is, but they started the exact same within the span of 2 or 3 days as us. And I don't know. I guess I just want to say that. I just want to say it. Hey, listeners, we know we're not trying to do something that I think we know it's not exclusive. We know this isn't something that, in a world of 7 billion people, what we're doing isn't a new and unique idea. But I just want to make it clear that it's not like we're trying to hone in on someone else's territory. We're two guys want to talk about James Bond movies and nothing else.
And you approached me with this idea about what do you want to say, like 8 months ago or so?
You're right. Let's be very clear. It was my idea first. Go ahead.
We need to put that on the website somewhere. This is Carlin's idea, or James Pod podcast, a Carlin Trammell original idea.
Yeah, original, because it was my original idea.
Yes. So we've been planning this for a while. See, so we record these episodes back in August 2013, and we're getting ready to release the first episode 001, which is called Recovered GoldenEye.
And we're clever that way. 001, like get it, 007.
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, the whole idea is like, there's not really a podcast doing this with James Bond right now, and then it's the week before we're about to release it, and what do we see online? Somebody tweets us and says, "Hey, you guys are releasing the same week as this
Bames Jonding.
I forget the name of it. Bames Jonding podcast." And we look it up and we realize, oh, it's hosted by these two guys who have way more Twitter followers than either of us, especially me. And they're already part of the Birdist.
Right. They already have iTunes reviews. They haven't even released the show yet.
Obviously. Yeah. So obviously it's going to look like we're just budging in on their already successful
Everyone's going to say,
and that's not the case.
Yeah. Hey, look at those guys. They're just copying the Bames Jonding podcast. That's what people are saying. I mean, that's what, if you get on message boards and internet forums, that's what they're saying. That's what all the kids are saying.
Anybody who's listening to this knows that I'm pretty new to podcasting for this, and I was not aware of the Birdist podcast, the Birdist network, whatever you want to call it. Now it's kind of blown out of proportion. So I did a little research. Like, the more I researched, the more I disliked the Birdist network. And this may, we may have followers, we may have listeners that
I think Alabama Dog right now has stopped listening to the show.
Alabama Dog was their number one fan. Okay, they had Alabama Dog on each of their shows about a dozen times. And I realized that one of their original creators was Chris Cardrick.
Yes, because we're not naming names. We don't want to name names.
No. I know Chris Cardrick from the show Balking Tad.
Right.
And I hate that show. I don't know if I dislike any show on television more than I dislike that show, especially this last season of Balking Tad.
But okay, all that aside, I think the point is, everyone's got a Alabama Dog in this fight. But we just want to make it clear that we're not copycats, or we're not trying to be like them. We're just trying to do a show. And if you listen to our show, great, thanks. And if you don't, and you want to listen to them, then whatever. But hey, you
Yeah,
know what?
it's your preference.
I don't want to spend the whole show talking about that. I just felt like we should address it.
No, we absolutely should. Because I think there's a lot of demand out there from people. They want answers.
Well, they want
and
drama.
we're here
They
to
want
deliver
drama. They want
answers.
to. They want to. Ooh, did you hear what they said about that?
They're like Cars.com commercials. They want drama.
Yes. But you know what? I mean, we have these opposing podcasts, and despite all that, despite the opposition, I feel as though now, here in episode 4, or I'm sorry, episode 004, we have at this point had such great success that I want to thank our listeners for listening. I want to thank our 3 reviewers for giving us iTunes reviews.
Oh, that's right. The one Canadian review.
Yeah, we had two in the U.S. store and 1 in Canada, and that's 3. That's 3. And I felt like it was. Maybe I was premature, but I felt like 3 reviews, that's pretty good. And I did something.
Okay.
I hired an assistant.
You hired an assistant?
I hired an assistant. I felt like it was...
other than Alabama Dog?
Alabama Dog's not really an assistant. He's a host. You've clarified that. He's not an assistant. He's a host of the show.
Okay. Well, I treat him like an assistant.
I hired an assistant who's not on the show. She's not going to be a host of the show. She's my assistant. She helps me out with things. So I just wanted to let everyone know when I'm talking, sometimes I might be talking to my assistant. So if you hear me talking to QK, and that's the name of my assistant, then that's who I'm talking about.
And just to clarify, this has nothing to do with Q from the Bond movies.
Absolutely not. None. No.
Okay. I'm just trying to, QK, that's an odd name. I mean, I'm
Hey, QK. Yeah.
I'll be happy to
Can I get some more coffee, please? Thank you.
QK.
She's gonna get me some more coffee.
What does QK stand for? Do you know what QK stands for? Or have you
I
not
don't
gotten that far?
I don't care enough that look. I don't want to ask her questions. I just want her to get me coffee and do the things I tell her to do. I don't ever want to really engage her. Hey, yes, thanks. Okay.
What's it going to take for me to get a QK for myself? Is that Peppy?
Thanks for the coffee. Mm-hmm.
Is that Peppy coffee?
It's Peppy coffee.
No, it can't be Peppy because you took way too many sips, and we all know that a drop of Peppy coffee will last you like 24 hours.
Look, it's podcasting game. You need a little extra. You need a little something extra to get through it.
Okay.
So
okay.
I took a little bit of a bigger swig than probably I ought to have.
Fair enough. So is QK a James Bond fan? Is that a requirement when you did interviews?
I don't know if she's a
you don't
fan
care
or not. I don't care. I mean, I didn't really even ask her questions.
Not care? How can she work for James Pod and not be a James Bond fan? And how can you not ask her if she's a James Bond fan?
I'm sorry I didn't vet her through you. I mean, she's my assistant. I didn't think it was going to affect you this much.
Do you have her wearing a different Bond girl outfit every day?
No, you don't. No, not at all. You don't want that. That's not something that... Mm-mm.
I can't wait to see photos of QK on our blog. And maybe QK should be added to like the staff. We should have like a staff page.
We should set up a staff page and we'll add QK there. But anyways.
Why not?
What?
Okay.
Why? I didn't say I'm agreeing. I didn't say we shouldn't. I said we should. Why are you arguing with me? Are you resentful that you don't have an assistant?
I'm just so used to arguing with you. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm a little jealous that I didn't come up with that idea first. Because an assistant sounds great. Because I could use a back rub right now. like if I had an assistant / masseuse, that would be great. That'd be great.
Well, let's see how many more reviews we get, and we'll go from there. But anyways, let's get into the movie. And the movie that we watched was The World Is Not Enough.
The World Is Not Enough, 1999. Another Pierce Brosnan film.
Yes, 1999. Yes, you're right. Pierce Brosnan.
Are you checking your notes? Do you need your notes?
Is that okay? I mean, is it all right that I wrote some notes out?
I think you're just getting lazy now that you have QK. Do you even watch the movies, or do you just have her watch the movies and take notes for you?
So anyways, The World Is Not Enough. It stars Pierce Brosnan, like you said. Yep.
The World Is Not. Okay, so this is his third movie.
Right.
And I mean, how do you think Pierce is growing into this role? Does this movie like because we both agreed we liked Pierce in GoldenEye. We thought he was a very capable actor. Is this script giving him a good opportunity here?
Um,
You
there
checking your
are
notes again?
there are things I like about this movie, and it starts off strong and gets weaker as it progresses.
Okay, okay. What? So you think it starts out strong,
Okay.
and I have some thoughts about this bank scene.
Okay. Let's hear
Uh,
them. Let's hear them.
it's a little absurd. I think I lost count of the banking puns at like 175.
Is that
There are
another low
so
end exaggeration?
there are so many. Okay, maybe low end exaggeration. But there are so many play on words of banking terms. Like I just got sick of it. It was really annoying. I don't know if you caught on to that or what, but
I did.
it
I
set
did
the
not.
tone
I
for
did
the
not
rest of
catch
the
on to
movie.
that.
Okay. You mean QK did not catch on to that?
No, I didn't catch on to that. I did
Okay.
not. I can honestly say I did not catch on to that.
Okay. But so okay, so this is before the title sequence, and you'll refresh my memory. Was the boat chase before the title? The boat chase was also before the title sequence. Title sequence starts right after the
Yes.
assistant
Yes.
kills herself with the hot air balloon, whatever. I thought the boat chase, the whole booby trap with his Mr. King's pin with the boat chase shooting out of MI6. Okay, that was interesting. I liked the boat chase through London for a while.
The thing about that is that really, up until that movie, there is very little in any of the Bond movies that takes place in London except for setup scenes and the MI6 offices and stuff like that. I can't,
Yeah,
and maybe I'm incorrect, but there is, I think, 2 movies total that has any action that occurs in the UK. And
no,
that
you
would
are
be
you are correct.
The World Is Not Enough,
Uh-huh.
and the one that you have to bring up every time, so I'll let you do it again.
Skyfall.
Yes.
And I understand that because Bond people had come to expect Bond to be in exotic locations. And this and the world's not enough does I mean has very like a lot of exotic locations. But you're right. There's the whole beginning chunk of the movie is set in London. It's a little bizarre. It's a little not I guess not bizarre. It's just it takes you a minute to realize like, oh, this isn't I mean, this is so normal. I think that's what it was lacking. Whereas like a boat chase in Venice is so much more interesting to me,
Yeah,
I
but I
guess.
think
I don't know. I don't
I think it's all right. I mean, it's was it the 19th or 20th film, or it was 19th film. It takes you 19
so,
films to finally do an UK based action sequence, and it's not even that long.
yeah.
That's fair.
Well, and you could tell that they were so proud of this because the special features on my DVD, your Blu-ray.
Uh huh.
I just had to put that in there.
Yes. Well,
Um,
yeah, you said it before I could.
there are there. I think I watched about 3 different special feature documentaries based purely on that boat chase, and I was so tired of. I think I saw about 35 people talk about how they had to shoot that boat chase for 14 days.
Is that a low end exaggeration, or is that an actual number?
I think that might be the actual number. They interviewed 35 people just to clarify how many days it took to shoot that boat chase. And I get it. It takes a long time. There had never been like a big action scene in the River Thames,
River Thames.
and especially by Parliament and Big Ben and all that stuff. There's never really been there's always like I think they said like a 5 mile per hour speed limit on boats. So taking speedboats through that river, yeah, I get it. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for London. But it's like that was the focus of the movie, and even then, it wasn't one of the best boat chases in Bond. I don't think.
No, it's. I think it's really more about the fact that it was where it was than what it was, because it's not even. It's not even that like integral to the plot. Like he
Yeah,
chases this girl down who, and I think we should talk about this momentarily. But who I think might be one of the best Bond girls ever. In fact, I think
the assistant.
yeah, I think in fact I think this movie has a great trio of Bond girls, but we'll talk about that more in a minute.
Okay.
But then,
Okay.
she just winds up killing herself, and like, there's no information. Like, he goes through all of that, and then there's nothing that really comes of it.
Yeah, he gets nothing from her. I mean, so the scene of immediately following the title sequence is they got to figure out, why would somebody want to kill him, and then they go to the funeral, and eventually they find where the money leads to Renard. But you're right. There's no point to that boat chase. Absolutely no point.
Not really. Not really.
But you still think she's one of the best. In fact, you think this is the trio of girl. I wouldn't even consider the assistant a girl. I mean, okay, maybe, but you're saying the trio of girls in this movie are one of the best. I mean,
Yeah.
we haven't even gotten to maybe the worst Bond girl ever, and you're already saying it's one of the best trios.
Yeah, we have the assistant.
Take a wild guess.
Take a wild guess about what?
Who I think is one of the worst Bond girls ever.
John Cleese?
Okay, speaking of John Cleese, yeah, I was not a fan of quote unquote R in this movie. I did think the highlight of the movie is Q's exit. This movie really has a place in my heart only because it's Q's last film, Desmond Llewellyn's last film, and I thought he, like, the special features tribute to Q was well done. Anyways, disliked John Cleese.
He was fine. He was fine. But I mean, yeah, it's he kind of, even though he's John Cleese, I think that's the issue. I think it's because he's John Cleese that it sort of falls flat. That it's not a guy who can be Q. It's John Cleese. That's I think the problem. Like, he does fine, but I can't separate him from being John Cleese.
Well, he's not that, and I mean he's not enough. He's almost exactly like Q, and it's kind of awkward. I mean, if they had, I'll mention Skyfall again. If they had made Q more of a protege, more of an age gap, I probably would have accepted it a lot more. But it just bothered me for some reason.
Yeah, fair enough. But no,
Back
the girls.
To,
so we have three girls. We have the assistant, who whatever her name is. I thought she was. Well, okay. Bond girls, pretty, and all three of the girls in this movie are pretty. The assistant, Sophie.
Assistant's the most action-driven female character.
Yes. Well, no, not necessarily.
She can hold her own. She can hold her own.
Yeah, but Denise Richards does a great deal of action in the movie as well, and maybe not as much Sophie Marceau. Marceau. Am I saying that right?
I don't know French. She's French, right? I assume.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think she does as much action, but I thought she
does a great deal of torturing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I thought she was good. I like the twist that really she's kind of the bad guy. Like, she really is the Bond villain in this. And that Renard is the henchman.
He's just the muscle.
He's just the muscle. He's the odd job. He's the Jaws of this movie.
He's the spoiler alert. He's the Bane.
Oh, yes.
From Dark Knight Rises.
You're right. Dark Knight Rises steals just from this.
It's Renard.
It's Renard.
But who? Okay,
it's almost the same scenario. Go.
You're right. It's right. Dark Knight Rises. Well, yeah, The Role's Not Enough stole the plot from The Dark Knight Rises.
It's exactly what I'm saying.
But okay. So I mean, I'm not dumb. I know everyone hates Denise Richards, but I don't think she's bad. I think she's great. Actually,
you think she's great.
What is the problem with Denise Richards?
She's a great. Do you think her character is great, or that her acting is great?
Yes.
I want to know what you think is great.
Yes.
Both?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that he's going to need somebody in there to help him out with the science, to help him kind of do a little bit of exposition, a little bit of that. Let's explain what's going on. So they bring a character into this point.
That's all she is. That's all she is exposition.
No, she's not. She helps move the plot along.
What is her job in this movie? Her occupation?
She is a physicist or something, right?
Does she sound, or does she carry herself like she would be a nuclear physicist?
What? I don't know. I'm not
That-
hanging out at physics
That-
conventions. And you know what? I don't.
Okay, well, my
If
point
does
is that
James Bond sound like he's a real spy? Do you think in real life spies act just like James Bond? Are we
Absolutely.
talking about real life? We're talking about movie life. Yes, in
Okay.
movie life, Denise Richards sounds just like a physicist.
You have a character, a female character, who's supposed to be a nuclear physicist, and so her character is supposed to be smart, really smart.
Yes.
And so smart that she is a good kind of counterpart to Bond. Except for Denise Richards comes off sounding, because I mean this is just simply Denise Richards. She comes off sounding like a 15-year-old schoolgirl who took one acting lesson, and she doesn't know at all what she's talking about. The words don't come out of her mouth right, and her jabs at Bond. I felt bad for Pierce Brosnan. And as a Bond girl, of course, there's going to be some sort of sexual interest. And Christmas Jones is, first of all, that's her name, Christmas Jones,
Right,
of course.
right,
you know,
right.
Bond girl names. And okay, so obviously they cast Denise Richards
Yes.
because
Great
I felt like
casting choice.
they just wanted a Baywatch babe in the movie, and what you get is what I would call the least sensual Bond girl in all the Bond movies.
It's
She is not sexy. She is not sensual at all. And even the most toughest Bond girls are at least sensual.
I don't
And
really
the-
understand this whole thing though. But going back to your point about she doesn't sound like a physicist. I don't want to be the one to say this. You know, I don't want to like make any accusations here. But are we saying that because she's pretty, because she has bigger breasts,
No.
because she's curvy, because she's kind of younger, she can't be a scientist? I mean, I don't.
Absolutely not. I'm basing this purely on her acting ability and the way she comes across as just a ditzy teenager. Obviously, a nuclear physicist can be very attractive. A nuclear physicist can look like her. I don't think a nuclear physicist can act like her and talk like her, because she comes across as the ditzy teenager from the movie Clueless. And it's just not believable to me. You know, it's just not believable that Bond would be attracted to her other than physically, of course. So I don't know. And I know there's a great percentage of people that agree with that. But you're saying you loved her.
Yeah, she was great.
Okay.
And you know,
Okay.
I don't think
You love her. That's fine. You can love her.
Okay. Well, I think looking at our time, I think we probably need to go ahead and skip to the end here. And I'm gonna get out my my card.
Your little handy dandy chart. here.
QK has handed me my card, and I have put at the number 4 mark. The world is not enough. And in the I got an A column.
Okay.
I've got a C column, and I've got a boat makeout column. And and so under the A column, this is where I'm going to put a T, an M, or a B for the top tier, the middle tier, or the bottom tier. And Aaron, where would you place this?
Okay. How many movies are in my bottom? I believe I only have Live and Let Die in my bottom.
You have
as of
one
now.
in your bottom as of right
as
now.
of as of episode
Wait,
004.
no.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
Oh.
I would put this in my. Right now, I'm going to keep it at my higher end of my bottom. So it is in the bottom.
okay.
No, scratch that. Scratch that.
You
I'm
waited
putting
until I wrote
no,
it down. I'm using a
Scratch it.
permanent marker.
Are you doing this in pen?
pen? Yes, I'm using a pen.
Hey, we have discussed how these are not official gradings of these movies. These are just
I wrote
rough.
it down, and then you're like, no. I want to change my answer.
I'm putting this movie at the bottom half of my middle section, based purely because I think there are some good action sequences in this. I like Pierce. I like the main Bond girl / villain, as you pointed out. I thought the story is good and was relevant, and I enjoyed it for the most part. So in the middle, do it. Have QK fix it.
Okay.
Have QK.
Okay. Can you fix this later? Oh, okay. All right. So I've talked about my love of
going
this
on?
movie, love of the Bond girls in this movie. But I feel like at this point, going back to what we were saying at the beginning of the show, honesty is the best policy. I did not watch this movie as you suggested. QK wrote all my notes for me. Denise Richards isn't really that great. This movie isn't that great. I'm putting it at my bottom.
You're putting your bottom.
Yeah.
Oh no. You've done a the world's not enough twist on me.
And was there a boat makeout scene at the end? Were they on a boat?
There was not a boat makeout scene.
Okay, thanks. Because QK did not put that in the notes.
Okay, so you
Next time, you're going to put that in the notes, QK.
Okay.
Boat makeout scene. How
Whoa.
many times do I have to explain this to you?
Whoa.
Okay, well, I think that's going to do it. Next time on... We'll talk later. Next time on the show, we're going to do which movie, Aaron?
You tell me. This is your choice.
Oh, it's my choice.
I haven't watched this movie.
Oh.
Yet. It's your choice. Yeah. Since
one?
I
Which
picked
one
The
should
World's
I
Not
do?
Enough.
Which one?
Oh, QK gets to choose now?
Uh-huh.
Man, I really need an assistant.
She says you only live twice is the next one.
Well, I hope that's the case for her because it sounds like you're about to rip her head off. Was that in her contract? You only live twice, QK.
Yes. We have it's a very complicated contract.
Obviously. All right. You only live twice.
That's what's up deck on
sounds
deck
like a
for
doozy.
the next episode.
That will be no guarantees here. That will be January 007 2014.
Should be.
So look forward to that, listeners. Watch The World's Not Enough over your Christmas break, Christmas holiday, whatever.
No, you only live twice. Unless
What
you
did
want to
I
watch
say?
The World's Not Enough again. You can, but you should have already watched it before
Okay.
listening to this podcast.
All right. You can watch that and listen to this episode since you already are.
You could
and then
probably
watch-
play this as a commentary track to The World's Not Enough.
I think it'd be great, and I think you'd be just shaking your head the whole time
Right.
while Carlin's talking about how great Denise Richards is.
Shaking your head, but not stirring your head. Okay, bye.
And with that, we are ending this podcast. Goodbye.